Men have always been plagued by the constant growth of hair from their faces. Attack and counterattack, thrust and parry. Engaged in an endless war, 90% of American men choose to shave their faces daily, spending approximately 5 months of their lives doing so. The razor has become the most commonly used tool amongst North American males. I think it's unfortunate that that title doesn't belong to the toothbrush. Is this really the best way? Why is it that we find our natural state so unappealing? What could possibly have provoked this war against the face?
I don't like shaving that much.
Because I don't like to shave.
People don't like to shave every day.
He doesn't like shaving. It's very sensitive skin, and all that shaving stuff really irritates your skin.
That will shave you pretty well, but it'll also cut the heck out of you.
It's really a pain in the ass.
I definitely didn't like shaving all the time.
Look at all the money I save on razor blades.
Yeah. We know from cave paintings that by the year 100,000 BC, men had begun to use clamshells to pluck their beard hair. Why they chose to engage in such a painful practice is a mystery.
Why some people will get up every day and spend all that time shaving?
Probably social considerations.
Yeah,
you know?
That's true.
Once again, a lot of it has to do with fashion.
What they see in the media and portrayed on TV, it's like they think, okay, that's what I need to do.
Part of it is just learned behavior. That's the way people are raised. Certain things you just learn to do, and you don't think about the fact that, why am I even doing this?
Worker robots must get up, must shave, must go to work. It's just because they're conditioned to do so.
I'm probably the opposite of a corporate dude that would, wear a suit and tie every day.
I think if people shave everything, guys shave everything, it's because they don't want to stand out as being different. They don't like the attention. They don't want to be thought of as being weird.
It's just not in their personality. They're a little too uptight, a little bit too in control, and the beard is a little bit out of control, maybe.
I think a lot of guys that do the complete shave are just too afraid to express themselves, or may not even be aware. Not even have enough self-consciousness or creativity to even think about it.
Maybe they're self-conscious about it. Because hair is definitely considered, dirty. A lot of the time. Like girls are, girls shave a lot of their body. Their underarms and legs and other areas. Oh.
Much like ourselves, the ancient Egyptians considered body hair to be lowly and beast-like. They often chose to pluck and shave most of their bodies. However, they still recognized a sort of masculine power embodied by the beard. On special occasions, Egyptian royalty would wear false beards of gold or silver called postiches. Even female rulers such as Queen Hatshepsut and child rulers such as King Tut wore them as a sign of their status.
Everybody, I'm sure, has their own reasons for growing beards or mustaches or burn sides, mutton chops, whatever you might see.
I think in most cases, the number one reason is laziness.
I definitely think I look better with a beard.
I don't know anymore.
Yeah, I don't either. It's been there for a long time.
The doctor told me that there's certain glands actually under your chin, and by keeping them warm, it actually helps you from getting ear and throat infections.
Hadraspana means it's kind of like dignified. It's a certain dignity. And in mystical, Kabbalistical sources, a beard is said to represent the attributes of mercy and the attributes of compassion.
Well, beard has always been known to give certain character to people and perhaps endow them with certain wisdom, or at least that's how they like to believe.
I would say just maybe a little flamboyant streak, and they just thought it looked a little bit more dashing than the face I was born with.
Just so people know right away I'm not like an average guy.
People walking down the street that will have been for years calling out, "Hey, it's Neil Young." I've heard that probably 3,000 times over the last 20 years, and I love hearing it.
You got a promotion with sales.
Yeah.
And it looked
I looked older.
15 before the beard.
I've kept my beard all these years, largely because as I lost hair on top, rather than people saying, hey, you know, Paul, that the bald fellow, they'd say, you know, Paul, the guy with the beard. And I kind of preferred that.
Many, many people do believe that the Prophet Muhammad, since he had a long beard, recommended that. And some people like to imitate the Prophet. So it all depends on how you look at it.
There's actually a lot of customs among Jewish communities, and kind of your facial hair tells a lot about which particular type of observant Jewish community you're from.
To my way of thinking and to the best of my knowledge, I do not think the Prophet recommended a beard.
I think it's another way of accessorizing without going to quite the same expense that the ladies tend to go to.
Some people don't like them, but I think they're pretty rad. Plus, it's just fun experimenting with facial hair. Like, I think I already have a plan. After this, I'm just going to shave up this area so I have these huge chops. And like under here.
I agree. It is fun to experiment with facial hair.
It'd be kind of nice to have a beard. At least, I don't know, I feel like more of a man.
What strikes me most, I think, maybe this is just because the way I was brought up in my family, my community, but it has a lot to do with like dignity. And it's kind of like a manly kind of thing. You know, I don't know. It's like take away the mane from a lion. It's kind of like no more lion, you know.
I suppose I've always admired the rebellious individualism and unbridled masculinity many associate with bikers. Perhaps I could grow a beard to look tougher. Somehow I don't think I could pull this look off without a chopper.
I tend to nod. I'll tell you, this has always been in my experience that you don't have, that bearded men, there isn't a complete affinity. And sometimes I will nod at a bearded man and get a response, and sometimes not.
Darren will notice other people with sideburns or with that kind of look, and they seem to notice him. And like if we pass people on the street, he'll get the what he calls the
compadre nod.
Yes.
It's this unspoken thing from a long distance. I mean, we'll see each other like across the street or walking through a mall, and just focus in. It's almost like radar for each other. We'll look and nod and then keep on walking. And it's happened hundreds of times.
It's like a compadre.
It's a secret society. You know?
It took me a long time to actually think of myself with a beard, and then now it's hard to not see myself in my mind without a beard.
By all accounts, the Victorian era was really the golden age of American facial hair. The Civil War pitted many beautiful beards and mustaches against each other. For instance, Confederate Generals Beauregard, Pickett, Early, Forrest, Hill, Hood, Jackson, Johnson, Stuart, Longstreet, and Lee. And Union Generals Grant, McClellan, Meade, and Burnside, from whose name came the term sideburns. President Lincoln was clean-shaven until 1860, when a little girl named Grace Battle wrote to tell him that growing a beard would help him get more votes. It's interesting that Lincoln and his assassin, John Wilkes Booth, had perfectly contrasting facial hair. Just a coincidence? I think not. From Lincoln until Taft, all American presidents aside from McKinley and Johnson wore some type of facial hair. A slew of hairy villains and communists such as Adolf Hitler, Joseph Stalin, Emperor Hirohito, Ho Chi Minh, Fidel Castro, and recently Osama bin Laden and Saddam Hussein have served to undermine the popularity of facial hair a great deal during the last century. Cartoon villains are frequently characterized by their evil facial hair, a far cry from kindly Santa Claus and honest Uncle Sam.
Always been a anti-mustache. I think mustaches are ridiculous, and I just think it makes most guys look ugly and old.
And it's the first time I ever grew, like, any kind of mustache facial hair, which I was a little worried about because that can make people look dirty sometimes.
The most common reason I think people grow beards, if they don't want to admit it or don't even realize it, is that I think they're embarrassed of their face. I think they look ugly and they want to cover it up.
We definitely know of a number of employers that, when he's talked about other possibilities, that there's certainly some employers that, well, that would mean that my beard would be going. It hasn't made the decision, but...
Yeah, I actually turned down a job opportunity because the first thing they said is, you need to shave. And I said, no, I won't do that.
Work discrimination is only the beginning. In 1830, Joseph Palmer of Leominster, Massachusetts, was attacked by men with razors after a local pastor denounced his beard as being a satanic vice. He was then jailed for a year for fighting back. There's certainly some anti-beardism out there.
I can't find his mouth.
But what I really want to know is what women think of facial hair. Can facial hair be sexy?
You're a beautiful dude.
A hairy one.
You'd think that girls wouldn't like beards because they're not like a common thing, but I found some girls that like them and they're not like crazy soccer moms or anything like that.
Yeah, I'm attracted to guys who have beards because I like masculine men.
Well, I know this, that certain women it doesn't attract because, they'll say stuff to me like, I would never let my husband have that, or they just outright laugh and think it's ridiculous.
I find them less attractive than I do a clean-shaven man.
Some girl was really attracted to me because of my beard, which was a plus.
I do find beards attractive. I think that on some men they look very sexy.
That all went downhill with the comeback of the Van Dyke or goatee of the last 10 years, where every Joe Blow is wearing those things to get in with the hip crowd. And maybe get some action at the bar. You get some doofus who wears a goatee and thinks he's going to pick up some chick because he's a happening guy. To me that doesn't even work. It just
baseball cap.
Yeah, exactly. It's become so cliche that these guys don't even realize that they're a cliche.
I just love it, and I like the change because he kind of sheds it, in the spring, and then he grows it back in the fall. So he has like these two different, but he always keeps the mustache. But I think it looks good. I always liked it.
Of course, each year it comes in a little more gray, but...
Yeah, that's good too.
But again, do I want my man to have a beard? Not really, because it's just kind of rough. So
the issue of wives and beards is an interesting one, and now that I think about it, that may have a lot to do with whether men do have beards or don't.
So probably the fact that I like your beard encourages you to keep doing it. If I really didn't like it, that might be something that you would not do, Right?
Yeah,
or do you, would
possibly.
You still, because there's been years I said that I didn't want you to grow it, and you didn't.
I've asked her on occasion, if it bothers her, if she would like me to cut it off, and she really likes the beard.
She's fine with it, I think sometimes she could take it or leave it.
My wife has never seen me without it.
We've started joking over the last few years that, it's how you tell us apart, because now that we both wear glasses all the time and have so much gray hair, that the beard is a differentiating factor.
Is the Spanish proverb true? Is a kiss without a mustache really like an egg without salt?
There would be a sensory component missing. Yeah. But this is my husband. This is the only man I've kissed for many, many years.
The kissing and the hugging and the kissing on the cheek, the actual facial hair touching my skin would probably be the problem for me.
But I always felt that it would be very prickly and uncomfortable feeling, and I like soft skin.
I think I have mostly only kissed guys with beards, and it's much more attractive than, I mean, a very clean shaven face, that's fine, but but it'd be too much like kissing myself. It's too soft. It's not manly enough. But then, a couple hours old shave is a little painful. It's a little too rough. So beard is perfect, right in between. It's grown out enough so it's soft enough, but it's not too soft. I know I'm kissing a man.
I like kissing him, so it doesn't matter.
Let's ask some girls I've dated.
I like Travis more with his beard because he looks younger without it and with a clean-shaven face, and the beard's kind of more exotic, and it makes him stand out more in a crowd.
I guess I'd have to say I'd like him better without.
Hey, Travis. I was pretty surprised to get this message from you. I don't really think it's a good idea for me to be in your beard movie. I think I've moved on, and I think you should do the same. So, yeah, goodbye.
He definitely identifies with his beard, but still, it covers up some hot features.
Such as?
His face?
Kissing Travis with a clean-shaven face was like kissing anybody else, and kissing Travis with a beard is different because you can feel it like around your face, the hair and everything, and his mustache tickles your nose, and there's more texture involved in the kiss.
Travis, I told you I'm not going to do an interview for your movie, and I think you know what I think about your mustache, so just give it a rest, and please stop calling me.
Alright, when you're kissing a guy with a mustache, like you can feel it coming a split second before you actually make contact. So that's, that's a sensation you don't feel with anyone else, right?
Yes, Travis is a good kisser. And the mustache and the beard kind of adds to it, so it enhances the kiss in a way.
Travis sucks at kissing, and I've had much better.
The mustache really doesn't earn points either way.
Mustache doesn't help at all.
End of messages.
And what about children and facial hair?
Natural inclinations to reach up and grab.
Yeah.
Ooh. And you get nothing more persistent than a 1-year-old that got their hands into it.
Matter of fact, when I had a full beard when my youngest daughter was born, and I cut it off about 2 years later, and she says, "Mama, there's a strange man in the house."
I first wanted to grow sideburns as early as 3 years old because my dad had them, and all the guys back in the late 60s had them. I just thought they were great. So I used to make sideburns with shaving cream when my dad would go in and shave. I would put the stuff on and take the cap of the shaving cream and use that as a razor and just carve them out as a little 3 or 4 year old, And I just couldn't wait until I could grow them, so...
Perhaps my own interest in beards began at an early age while I lay gazing up at my bearded father. During the 1970s and early 80s, my father had a nice chin beard. His brother, a mustache. My father recently regrew his beard after I helped to rekindle his interest. Unfortunately, he decided not to keep it. Looking further back, my great-great-great-grandfather, John Anderson, had some handsome Piccadilly weepers, and another great-great-great-grandfather, Arthur Bayreuther of Bavaria, sported a stylish verde beard and mustache. He must have thought that anything worth doing was worth doing well. On that note, perhaps I should grow a beard for competition. The Olympics of Facial Hair Competition is without a doubt the World Beard and Mustache Championship, which is held biannually. The 2003 championships were held in Carson City, Nevada. The event attracted 123 competitors and teams representing 9 countries: England, Austria, Italy, Norway, Sweden, Hong Kong, dominant beard powerhouse Germany, and the United States. The distinguished panel of judges included Carson City Mayor Ray Maseko,
Go USA.
and Mark Twain.
I came into this hall thinking I had a mustache. I'm a child.
Contestants competed for prizes in 17 categories of facial hair. Natural mustache,
Italia!
English mustache, Dolly mustache, handlebar mustache, Wild West mustache, Fu Manchu mustache,
Congratulations, winners!
Imperial mustache, Freestyle mustache, Natural goatee, Musketeer,
People say that we're a little strange because we get into our mustaches and our beards and your facial hair and whatever. And we just have a good time doing it. I mean, it's just a kick in the butt, really.
Freestyle goatee,
Switzerland!
sideburns,
The new world champion! 82 years young, came all the way from London to claim his prize.
full beard natural,
It's a fake beard! Anchorage, Alaska!
full beard styled mustache, Garibaldi, Verdi, and freestyle full beard.
Heinz says this is, for him, this is the best prize. This is the one he would most like to receive.
Thank you. I am American.
The People's Choice winner was Heinz Christoffel, president of the Palatinate Beard Club from Mannheim, Germany. And the overall champion was Karl-Heinz Hille of the Berlin Beard Club. In mystical Jewish sources, the beard is sometimes referred to as an outgrowth or expression of the mind. At the very least, facial hair is part of a man's body, and yet we spend so much energy hacking it off. So maybe it's time you let your face have its way. Spend more time loving your beard, and don't be afraid to let it dream.